All right, so I'm going to assume we're live now because it's doing the thing. So, Justin, welcome back. Another week. It's great to see you. Today we're talking about goals, so I appreciate you jumping on because I know you got a lot of them. I got a lot of them. We're working on growing our businesses, and I'm grateful that you share your time with me every Wednesday.
Likewise, man. I love learning and sharing. So obviously, I'll be sharing my goals here. You can share yours, but I love hearing what you're working on, the hustle and everything you got going on. It's awesome.
It is a little intimidating, but living life a little bit on the edge right now, so we'll see how it plays out. But before we jump into goals, let's talk about our Q1 quarter one wrap up. How did the first 3 months of the year go for you?
So I bucket things into different groups. So for example, I have my real estate investment side is one, and then me as the real estate agent team. So my big ones for the real estate investment side was just closing or finishing the short plat, which is
Mhm.
like my never-ending project. So technically, Q1 did not finish it, but today I'm actually going in to sign the documents and then get recorded. So it should be done, worst case by the end of next week. But so that was like my big thing, just to get that thing done such that, that one's been a big negative every month for the holding costs. So once that's done, then I can sell them off and then start the development on that. So that was really my main project for Q1. I didn't get it in Q1 technically, but I'll have it done here by the second week of April.
Wow. Making it happen. We are in the second week of April, so this is
Exactly.
great.
So
Cool.
that's one, and then in terms of the agent business, my agent business, my goal for the year is to do 155 transactions, and effectively that's like 5xing the business what I did last year, and we're year to date through Q1, we're up 40%. Now, normally that's good, right? You're up 40% year over year, but I'm trying to be up 500%. So my goal as we, get into Q2 and forward is more lead gen, more getting people on the team to get more transactions, which ultimately trends to more income.
Sweet. Love it. More income does help, in fact,
Mhm.
live life. So
Exactly.
that's
So
great. Anything else you want to highlight for Q1?
so for Q1, and this is separately, I'm in a group called Go Abundance, which is a men's mastermind. There's a minimum net worth to get in. We are tracking, we have what's called a one sheet. And this one sheet, I'm looking at it right now. I'm not sharing my screen, but it basically covers over like the major pillars of everything you're working on. So I have like personal and financial, body and soul, and then just straight goals, and then accountability. And, when I look back historically, when I did well, I always had some sort of thing I was tracking. Now, this one's very formal. It's got everything documented, metrics and everything. In the past, it was even simpler. I would just use Brandon Turner's intention journal, and I'd have one or three goals for the year and then quarterly tracking. The key for those that are watching, the more you get done, as it really comes down to, is putting it in front of yourself as much as possible. So that's one thing that I've been trying to work on now is, especially as I have, under the agent team, I've got to be a leader and try to build that business up. For me to do the right things at the right time, I've got to be having this in front of me. So the goal is to have at a minimum weekly. Some people do this every day. I mean, if you're Grant Cardone, I think you follow him, where I think he looks at his net worth. I want to say it was every day. So, or at least every week. I'm trying to do the same thing. What are the goals for the year? And then looking at these on a recurring basis, ideally it's weekly, and then having accountability in it. So for me, within this group called Go Abundance, I have what's called a Go Pod. There's five of us or four of us. And so we're tracking every week. What are we working on? Then right now we're at the end of the quarter. Next Monday, I'll be presenting. Here's what the goals were for Q1. How did I do on Q1? What am I going to work on Q2? All that kind of stuff. So um, that's what I wanted to share is like, even though we have these portfolios and it looks like everything is, on the outside humming along, that's
Mm.
only because we're focusing on these goals that we have. And because there's literally thousands of things we can do. But my thing is I got to focus specifically on what is important to me that's on my goals so that I get the biggest things done first.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. We have Flavio in the chat. So hi, Flavio from Grandview, Washington. Came over to check out the portfolio in Q1. That was a few months ago. So that was fun. My recap from the first few months. Well, I fired my property manager. So that was a event. Yeah. I swapped insurance carriers for every building I own. I went to basically a master policy where everything's under one and get to build out separately or internally. And so that saved $2,000 a month on insurance across the portfolio.
Hmm.
And other than that, just been focused on optimizing the projects so I can refinance. I completed a handful of refinances, trying to further build that liquidity. I got hit with the worst consecutive back-to-back CapEx months of my life, January and February of this year.
Hmm.
Ev- every other week, I had a five-figure unexpected expense. So one week it might be 11 grand, then it's 19, then it was 15, then it was 14, and it just kept happening. And so that was a real downer to start the year because I actually had finally saved up some cash. I was finally getting towards my goals, and then there was a way for it to all disappear, so that keeps us down to earth. But that was a rude awakening for the year. I've been to try and help fix that. Swap insurance is same coverage, better rate, and that will help me start saving money. I'm also bringing management in house rather than just focusing on making necessarily more money. I'm focusing on optimizing the systems to improve the bottom line rather than grow top line.
Hmm.
And once those systems are in place, which is a goal for Q2, next piece is going to be to scale again. But that was my Q1. It was very brutal. Basically, I had to switch everything I was doing, all the systems, and I don't think I bought any properties. Yeah, I didn't buy any properties in Q1. Did you?
I got one basically January 1st. I did a lease with the option to purchase. So that's the only one I got in Q1. We're in the same spot. We have top line revenue. What we're trying to do is actually hold on to it, meaning not let it all funnel away to CapEx, whatever the expense is. So I'm in the boat where by the end of Q2, I'll have cleaned up my old projects, built up the liquidity. Like for me, Q3 is going to be acquisition mode, Q3 and Q4. So, because I'll have liquidity plus the agent team will start kicking off more income to where, okay, now I got to start looking at buying stuff. Yes, I want to continue to grow, but there's tax advantages to buying as well. So as you make more money, you got to figure out how to keep that money. So if I can, bonus depreciate these as well, because what I'm trying to do is, as it looks like right now, 2024, zero taxes. 2025 should be zero taxes. For 2026, I need to buy some probably by the end of the year in order to bonus depreciate and get taxes to zero as well. So it sounds like we're very similar trajectories. Once we Q2 is another stabilizing and systemizing is how I would put it for myself. Sounds like the same for you.
Yeah. So moving forward, like what are your next pieces? Because we're doing the same thing, but we might be doing it differently. Like I'm working on house hack deal to eliminate my cost of living. What are
Right.
you working on next, moving forward to help preserve the bottom line?
So right now I'm working on the bringing back in the property management. So I was just reviewing. I found the contracts. So now I need to give notice and then phase it because I'm not going to do all of it at once, for Washington anyway. And then what's the other stuff? So I think that's the main like tactical stuff. But in terms of you're talking about buy side, I'm open to another house hack. I got to talk Cindy, my fiance, into it, because we're super. We effectively live for free today, so I'd want to find a house hack where we could do the same thing and build wealth, but also effectively live free.
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's one of the most impactful things that I have not done yet. If I could have my cost of living at zero for the housing expense, that'd be sweet. Because with utilities and stuff, granted, being in Central Washington is cheaper, but we're still paying 1,900 a month.
Right.
If we didn't have that, that would just be saved to reserve. So that's on our agenda. And one thing we're working on to do that is buying a seller financed townhome site, and we'll live in one of the townhomes and rent out the other. Going from renting a place to living next to all of my tenants because that'll be my biggest property.
Hmm.
But we shall see how that goes. I'm excited not having housing expense.
Nice. I'm actually. It's funny you bring that up because like the apartment that I'm living in, I say I effectively live free because my old house hack I rented for 1750 for a one bedroom. We're now renting a two bedroom north of Seattle for 1400. So yes, it's effectively live for free. The building is a 10 unit complex. And, I hope the owner doesn't watch this, but he should be charging us like 2000 a month at least. And so my thought is like I should just buy this building that I'm living in. And then same as you, I'd be living next to the tenants. And I know that everybody in that building, nobody ever leaves. It's just because like it's so much below market rent. So, that's probably the easiest way that I know that Cindy would be bought in is if I bought that building. We literally wouldn't have to move. We're house hacking. So that's probably
Wait,
I should put that on the goal sheet.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
House hacking, larger multifamily is interesting too because you can actually cash flow while you live there.
Hmm.
You're not just breaking even or reducing your costs, but you're getting paid to live there. So your entire lifestyle could be paid for.
Oh, 100%. If I just this the place is about 30% under market rent. If was
Hmm.
able to, there is, the rent control. Let's just say it's 10%. If I did 10% bump across the board, that literally would compensate. It would pay for where we're at. We'd be living for free. So, um, that's definitely something I need to look at. Now it's just a matter we do know the owner. So now it's just about a matter of making the calls, positioning myself to be able to buy that.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think that's great. You totally should. It looks nice. Kitchen looks great. You're not living in a tiny house.
No, this is actually my mom's house. So I
Oh,
had
okay.
to, in order to, because I have this live stream and I have one right after this, and I got to be in Tacoma by 10 o'clock. So I had to leave my house around 5:30, come down here, post up, and be able to do these live streams, but then be close enough to get in, get my documents signed, submit them to Pierce County. So this is my mom's house. What I'm looking
I was like,
right out Mount Rainier. It's an
I was
amazing
just
view.
thinking 1,400 a month in Seattle for that. That looks like a steal.
Oh man, my mom's got a great house. It's over 3,000 square feet. She lives by herself. It's got a mountain view. It's amazing setup.
I'll rent that for 1,400.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't even get one bedroom for 1,400 right here. But this is south of Seattle. For those that are familiar with the area, it's Bonnie Lake, Sky Island, if you're familiar with that.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. All right.
So,
Well, what else you got going on? So Q2
uh,
moving forward. if you could only accomplish three things in the next 3 months, it could be linear, one per month, or it could be I'm going to do all the three things in April and then I'm going to chill. What would those three things be?
For sure, number one is finishing this Tacoma short plat project, right? So, and that means get the short plat done, which I'm doing that right now, but then selling the existing properties around there. So, one of them, actually, both of them are under contract. So, one of them's a done deal. The other one, the buyers are trying to wiggle out. So, I may have to ultimately list it if they end up getting out. So it would be finishing that project to be able to sell, then sell it, and then start working on the the soft costs, i.e. the architect type stuff on what I'm going to build on the new lot when it's done. So doing that, the next one, and I was just doing this right before this call, I'm hiring my second virtual assistant. So this virtual assistant's going to help out with, um, and I'm sure you're the same way. I'm so busy that there's stuff that's not getting done that's important, but I'm doing stuff that's low dollar per hour stuff. So I have a VA today. The VA today is doing admin and lead gen, moving her 100% to lead gen. New person be 100% administrative slash transaction coordination to help out the agent team, which then would give me more time to focus on operations, i.e., property management, and then generating more business for the agent team. So that'd be number two. And then three would be finishing the Washington portion, bringing the property management in-house. Do those three things. I'll free up time, lower cost, and be able to start stacking liquidity. And, it's been a couple years since I've been able to actually stack liquidity because like you were just talking about January, February, you get ahead, something happens. It's just kind of like, I'm up a little bit, down a little bit, kind of just flat. Q2, by the end of Q2, like I'm getting so excited about it because I haven't been in this spot literally since I left Amazon where I'll be stacking cash consistently on a monthly basis to where it's shifting from you know, what am I going to do with my money to how am I going to move money around to survive at times, right? So I'm super pumped up. If I do these three things, the short plat, the property management, and the VA, those are the three big movers for my Q2, which basically set up all of 2026.
Great. And I think for myself, I need to successfully take over management. Like I'm doing it now, but it's only been a week.
Yeah.
So I want to find my groove with that and really systematize the management piece. I need to complete a couple of refinances, not from a balloon standpoint. My nearest balloon is like 7 years,
Hmm.
but I have equity that I can tap and actually lower my cost of capital while doing so. So one of my objectives is to stack 100,000 more more capital into a account that I don't touch
Hmm.
and just have it, and then have that sleep at night money
Right.
because having had that and then having it just go away is depressing. So
Yes.
I want to rebuild that. And then the other thing is I just want to pay myself consistent cash flow. Like have consistently just auto pay 10, 12 grand a month coming in. I believe I should be able to do that by the end of Q2 and continue to build reserves and stock away money for other stuff. But just get it on auto pay. Because in
Hmm.
the past, what I've done is if I've had money, I transfer it. But that just feels like a job. So I mean, it's not a job, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's systematized. So I want to get to the point where I'm building and have the reserves and can just have it come out of the account to my account and I don't think about it because
I
then
love
it's more so passive income.
it. Hmm.
So those are the things I would really like to accomplish. And I guess the house hack piece that's in motion. So I should theoretically be moving in May.
Hmm.
into the townhome site. That's seller finance and no money out of my pocket. So basically going to go from paying rent to living in my spot that I don't own yet. But hopefully, once it's leased up, I'm a little worried about the lease up because there's so much inventory in my market.
Yeah.
But once it's leased up, the property should cash flow 4 to 5 grand a month while I'm living there. And I'll
Hmm.
have one partner to split it with.
I love it. So just to recap, I had kind of combining these into one. Consistent cash flow, 10K a month, set up as auto pay, and then set 100K aside, i.e. liquidity fund, slash in case of emergency break glass money. Uh, Finished PM onboarding. And then the third one is house hack in May, the townhome.
Hmm.
That's awesome, man. We should
Yeah.
I'm logging these on my what I call my goal tracker. It's called a one sheet. So when we get into the second week or first week of what is that, July, we can track how we did on these, keep people updated with where we're at, just so they can follow along on the journey. And the other thing for me is when I'm doing good at goals, it's usually because I told somebody else about it.
Yeah.
And now this is obviously public information. People now know what you're working on, what I'm working on. So if you guys see us out and about, conferences, on another live stream, feel free to drop in the notes or ask us how we're doing on these goals because a lot of the times that's what keeps me motivated is I'll make a bet with somebody that I'm going to do something so that it forces me to put my time there and get it done. So thanks for sharing these. These are uh, for anybody that's watching, none of these are easy that we're working on. And a lot of these are big to where uh, even if we don't hit them, these are like big movers for the business, right? Let's just say Cody stacks 50K instead of 100K. That's a massive, massive change from where he is today. So I'm more of a guy who says, like on the agent business, trying to 5X the business, shooting for 5X. If I end up at 3X, 4X, I mean, that's still a massive win, and I like to really stretch myself to see what I can get done.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You got to see what you can do. Push the limit. Like I mentioned to you offline, I'm sitting on the edge, and you can make a lot of really informed decisions when you're on the edge because you can see both sides of the coin, but it's not a good place to hang out forever. So we're going to see how far it goes and then take a step back. And I had a mentor tell me this, and he's actually the guy that I'm working on buying some stuff from. If everything goes through, I'm going to owe one person $9.9 million seller financed. That's
Nice.
kind of crazy. I mean, imagine being on the other side. But he told me if you take 2 steps into the difficult arena, that means when you go to retire, you can take 2 steps into the good life. And so, if you want to go 5 steps, great, then you can go even farther over here. But you got to make sure if you go over there, you can actually make it back. So if you're going to do all this hard work, make sure you're building a business that allows you to come back.
Right.
Because if you go 10 steps one way, you can go 10 the other, as long
Hmm.
as you don't build the job. And that was really impactful for me when I heard that. I think I did a video on that in the past, but it's so true. He went way over here, and now he can go way over here, and he can do basically whatever he wants.
Yeah. That's like the Dave Ramsey, live like no one else to live like no one else, right? So you're doing in the hard work right now, such that if you want to downshift, I spend more time on the beach or whatever your fun thing is, you have the options to do it. And I think when I look back the last, because I'm in 10 years now from first house hack to today,
Awesome.
it's not a business that I could sell yet, right? So as I add these admin people, virtual assistants, and structure this to where it's a system, then it's truly a business. In theory, I could sell it. I could step away from it to where I can do more of what I want to do. So, and it sounds like you're kind of working on the same thing where, today, like if we stop doing everything we're doing for a week, a month, even a day, it starts shrinking. Stuff starts happening. So, it's going to be awesome to see where we're at by the end of the year. if we can systematize all this and effectively continue to fire ourselves until we're the CEO, not doing the
Hmm.
work, but just the decision-making process.
Yeah, and I'm not quite as far as you because I started in October of 2019. So I'm completing my seventh year this year,
Hmm.
and then going into year eight. And it's way easier now than it was in the first couple of years. I was thinking about that. It was a big deal if I bought a lawnmower back
Yeah,
then with the property account. I was like, dang, I didn't have to buy this. This is incredible. And now it's like, shoot, we're spending way more than that than used to. But it does get easier. I'm excited to see what happens at the 10 year. And for those who are in the earlier years, you just got to keep going.
that's the hardest part is like continuing to go. And then obviously we hang out with a lot of other investors who, a lot of them are successful. Um, case in point, like the one rental at a time community like Zuber and Lumberjack and Dion and stuff, and where, I'm 10 years, you're at, 7 years. And, I'm a big fan of Thatch Wynn, who's probably 30 years. So when you hear their stories, you're just like, oh my God, the amount of wealth that they built and the lifestyle they have today, it's like, man, that seems unreachable. But really, it just comes down to doing the work every day over time, and it's exponential. And so by the time you get to 10 years, the problems that you're having today won't be that big of a problem. And when I get to 15 or whatever, 20 years, the problems we have today are going to be much easier for us to manage. So I'm excited about where the future's going because we're trending in the right direction, and I foresee the market coming into our favor in the next, 6 to 12 months. So if we get the liquidity right in the market, lower interest rates, more stuff to buy, trends in our favor, life is good, man. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think once I finish my lease up on these projects, I'm probably just gonna chill.
Yeah.
Maybe for a whole year, not buy a single property.
I mean,
I yeah.
that's effectively, I think lumberjack landlord's like 25-ish years in. If I was listening to him this morning, so I think that's where he's at. And he's kind of like he's finishing that big jail project. And then he's just gonna kind of downshift, and he's got I don't know how much, but he's got all the money he's ever gonna want. So he's downshifting, enjoying life, spending more time with the family. So if you have the opportunity to do that, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be my stepping off point for a year because I want to have a family and I want to be able to focus on that. And
Yep.
if I keep buying, yeah, I'll have more money. But like if real estate doubles every 15 years,
Yep.
what's an extra little bit after that? So I
Right.
think that's going to be a really important piece of my journey that'll be different than some of my other friends who are my age. They want to keep going, and I'm going to take a whole year just to
Mhm.
go do life.
I mean, with you because you're so young, right? So because you're what, 23 or something?
Dude, I'm 26. I
26.
was
Okay.
my
So
my age follows the year.
yeah. Oh, that's an easy one to remember. Okay. So, that just following that, let's just for simple math, just say you're at 10 million. I'm sure you're above that, but if it doubles every year, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80, 80 to 160.
Oh yeah, and assets, yeah,
Yeah. So by the time you're 60s, you'll be well over 100 million. And that's if you do nothing, right? And the odds of you doing nothing for 40 years is zero. But if you did nothing, you're going to be over 100 million. Now, I'm older, so like I don't have that much compounding relative to you. So, but still, I'll be at 100 million from the same kind of thing. And that's if I do nothing. So it's just a matter of shifting to where you're balancing your lifestyle with your goals, right? So yours is building a family. So you're gonna once you stabilize everything that we were talking about here, you're gonna have enough money to do whatever you want. So then now enjoy that time with the family now.
yeah. So we're gonna try that. Got some things to wrap up. There's also There's one other 12-plex I really want to put together. It's right
Mhm.
next to my 13 unit. So that will probably be the last one. But
Nice.
alrighty, with that said, it's 8:32. I'll let you get back to your day. I appreciate you jumping on. I'll see you next week and anything, let me know.